Right, so an example with data values. There are 7 data values if I add them. And we can find the mode, which occurs the most. Only the 8 occurs twice. Everything else is only once. So the mode is 8. And then the mean is the average. So we can find the sum of all these values and then divide by the total frequency. Okay. But I'd like to show you how to do it on the calculator in case you don't know. So if you just switch your calculator on and go to stat mode. So press mode and then stat. And then 1 for variance, VAR. And then you can put in all those values. There's a column with X's. So 5 equals, 8 equals, 1 equals, 3 equals, 9 equals, 8 equals, 7 equals, right? So I've inserted all the values in, all the X values, all the data values. All right, all happy so far? Diane? Diane, are you there? Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you got that on your calculator?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then clear your calculator. Then press Shift Shift Stat. It's above the 1. Shift 1. And then you're going to press the variance again, VAR. And then the mean is like this, remember. So choose number 2. Well, it's number 2 on my calculator. And then equals. So your average is 5,86. Were you to add those up and divide by 7, that's what you should get. Then I want you to clear the calculator again and go Shift Stat and variance again, VAR, so number 4 on mine. And then I want you to press 3 equals. That is the standard deviation. All right, the standard deviation, and you get 2,75. Right, you're allowed to use your calculator to find these entities. Okay, it's very easy on your calculator, especially when they give you lots of values. Right, is everyone okay with that? Using the calculator. All right, okay, so that's fairly nice. Then what we want to look at is the median. The median is the middle value, but for the median, you need to rearrange from smallest to biggest. Okay, so rearrange smallest to biggest. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite these values, but in order, or the increasing order. So 1 will be first. Notice I put a line through just to know I've done it. Then it's 3. Then it is 5. And then 7, 8, 8, 9. And then double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, we had 7 before as well, so we haven't skipped any. All right, and the median is the middle value. So the easy way of doing it is to cancel from each side. So go that, then another one, and then you see you're left with the one in the middle. That is called Q2, your median. The one left in the middle. Right, now we can also find what is called the Q1, the lower quartile. and Q3 the upper quartile. Right? When you have an odd number of data values, your Q2 will be one term in the middle. You actually then discard it when you're finding the lower quartile and the upper quartile. You ignore that one value. So if you look at 135, that's an odd number, right? Odd number, I'll describe to you just now what you do with an odd and an even number. So let's stick to what we did first. We cancel from each side. So there, and then you're left with 3. That is Q1. And the same here, cancel 1 from each side, and you're left with 8, which is Q3. And therefore, we get what we call the interquartile range. It is Q3 minus Q1. 8 minus 3, which is 5. Okay. Sorry, I can't hear you. Right. I don't know. Someone was probably speaking in the background. Okay, so you find your median by finding the middle, but you can also find the middle of the lower half and the middle of the upper half, Q1 and Q3. And you follow exactly the same procedure. If you started with an odd number, then this one in the middle, you'll discard it when you're finding your median of the bottom and the top. In other words, Q1 and Q3. All right, now this also brings us to the 5-number summary. 5-number summary or 5-point summary consists of the minimum, the maximum, and then Q1, Q2, Q3. That's the 5-number summary. In this case, the minimum value was 1. And the maximum value was 9. Q1 was 3. Q2 was 7. And Q3 was 8. Right, now if you write down your 5-number summary, it helps you find what we call the box and whisker plot. Okay? Right, I'm going to do it here next to it. Okay, box and whisker plot. Okay, you draw it in the normal Cartesian plane. The vertical is nothing. Okay, the horizontal takes on these values. In particular, the 5-number summary, which is going from 1 to 9. Right, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it doesn't matter what's going on the vertical. We're now going to mark off 1. 1 is there, and what we do is we just draw a line, a vertical line, somewhere here, doesn't matter where. Then Q1 is 3, 1, 2, 3, same. Q2 is 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Q3 is 8. And the maximum is 9. And what you do is you do not include the ends, but around the middle 3 you put a box. And then you do that. That is a box and whisker plot. Right, now you'll notice that this line is more towards the right than it is to the left. That is called negative skew. It actually, for me, feels like it should be the opposite. Because this line is more towards the right, so I'm thinking more positive, but it's not. You just have to learn that when this median is closer to the Q3 than the Q1, then it is negative skew. Okay? Opposite would be something like that. That would be positive skew. And if it's in the middle, then it's symmetrical. Okay, and that's important that you know that. So negative skew, positive skew, and then if it was in the middle, then it would be symmetrical. Oops. Right. Right, any questions so far? No?
Sorry, Mom.
Hey.
When drawing the box and whisker diagram, do you have to draw on the y-axis, even though we don't use it?
No, so you can place this anywhere. It could be up there, it could be down there. It doesn't matter where it is. There's nothing going on there. What you're really measuring is that. Okay, the horizontal.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Okay, all right. So that's just a little bit of a quick intro to the basics of stats. It's easy to make mistakes. So what my aim is to make sure that you do not lose these marks in an exam. Right, now this was an odd number of terms. I want to elaborate on that. If this number is odd, n equals 7, odd number, what you should do is add 1 and then divide by 2. That gives you 4. So you know that your median is the average of the 4th and the 5th. Your median is the 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Median is the 4th. So if it's an odd number, add 1 and divide by 2. It equals 4, so it's the 4th term. 1, 2, 3, the 4th one is your median. Okay. Because the one we're going to do next, I'm going to make even. Okay, and I'm going to put it in order. That's 8 terms. Okay, 8 numbers. The mode would be 2 or 3, 2 and 3, okay, one that occurs the most. The mean you can do on your calculator like I showed you, or add and divide by 8. What I'm interested in here is the median, the middle. Now again, I can go and cancel from each side, but I'm not. I'm going to use the more sophisticated method. So n is 8, which is even. If it's an even number, you take the number and you divide by 2, and you get 4. So therefore, it's the average of the 4th and the 5th. All right, so in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The average of 3 and 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So in this case, your median would be 3. It's just a coincidence that they happen to be the same. And then, if you had cancelled from each side, you would also have got that. Q1 and Q3, lower quartile and upper quartile. Now, if it's an even number, you do not discard anything. There wasn't one left in the middle. So you literally just split it in 2. And you do the middle and the middle. Even, even. So what do you do if it's even? You take the number 4, and it's the average of the 4, and you halve it. So you get 2, so therefore it's the average of the 2nd and the 3rd. Second and third, again, they happen to be the same. 2 plus 2 is 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that's your lower quartile. Okay, your median Q2 was 3. And then Q3, it's the middle of the lower. So again, it's going to be the average between the second and third from the back. 1, 2, 3. So the average of those two. Okay, 4 plus 8 over 2, which is 6. All right, so again, you have your minimum and maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'll obviously space them beautifully. All right. And then your minimum is 1. Your maximum is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, is here. And then your Q2 is 3. And your Q1 is 2. And Q3 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you put the box around the middle 3. And then your whisker. All right, and then remember, please, that this line is more towards that side, towards the left of this box. So it is called positive skew. You literally get asked a question like that for 1 mark, sometimes. Okay. So that's positive skew. This is a more sophisticated way of finding the median. If in doubt, just cancel 1 from each side. And you'll have been left with 3 and 3, take the average, and then halve them to find the middle again. So cancel from each side, average, cancel from each side, average. Okay. Right, any questions so far? Right, because what I want to look at next is the intervals. Okay, so something like 0 to 5, and then 6 to 10, and then 11 to 14, and let's do one more, 15 to 20. Right, these could represent kilograms or ages or whatever. Okay, it's something, and then the frequencies are the following. So if it's ages, for example, the frequencies will be age 0 to 5 is 10, 6 to 10 is 12, 11 to 14 is 8, and 15 to 20 is 9. So there are 10 of that age, 12 of that age, 8 of that age, etc. There are various things that you need to look for when you see something like this. The big thing to look for first is that, and that, and that. They are not the same. So the data is not continuous. So what you have to do is you have to make it continuous. So if you look at 5 and 6, what's the gap between them? 5 and 6 is 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So a half up and a half down. So what you do is you do another table, minus 0.5 to 5.5. These are the classes, but where you've bridged the gap. Minus 5.5, minus 0.5 is 5.5, plus 0.5 is 10.5, minus will be 10.5, 14.5, 14.5, and 20.5. All right, so now we have continuous data. There was a break there, so it's not continuous. Right, and from that, you can find the class width. So 10.5 minus 5.5 is 5. 5.5 to minus 0.5 would be 6. 14.5 minus 10.5 is 4, and that is 6. So you could find the width and why would you find the width? Because frequency density is frequency over width. 10 over 6, 12 over 5, etc. Okay, and what do we use a frequency density for? We use it for a histogram. So you would plot from minus 0.5 up to 5.5. Let's make this 5, 10, 15, 20. You're plotting from minus 0.5 to 5.5. And you're going up to what? To the cumulative frequency. Oh, I like. We're going to find the frequency density. Frequency over width. That's what goes here. So frequency, 10 over width, 10 over 6, 5 over 3, 1.7 or whatever it is, okay? And then 12 over 5, and 8 over 4, and 9 over 6. Okay, frequency over width gives me the frequency density. I will then work these out as decimals and then plot them, right? So from minus 0.5 to 5.5, up to there, it will go up to whatever frequency density you work it out to be. Okay, so for the first one, 5 over 3, let's just check it exactly. 5 divided by 3 is 2.5. So this is 2.5. Now, why is it doing that? 2.5, and then 12 over 5 is 2.4. Yeah, 10 over 6, 12 over 5. So 8 over 4 is 2, 8 over 4, and 9 over 6 is 3 over 2. So 1.5. So when we plot here, we're plotting frequency density. So 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that. So from minus 0.5 up to 5.5, it is about 2.5, which is there. So it's all the way. There is nothing here. Right, and then the next one is 2.4, 12 over 5. Right, is 2.4, and that is 412. It's the frequency density and the width. It's from 5.5 to 10.5. It's like there, and it's up to 2.4, which is a little bit below. And then the next interval, 10.5 to 14.5, something like that. And it will go up to 2. Okay, in line with the 2. And then the last one, it will be 1.5. And for how long? From 14.5 to 20.5. Okay, so something like that. That would be the frequency density graph. The histogram. The histogram. Yes.
Ma'am, I'm not sure if I'm mistaken, but the first one, when I plotted in the calculator, it gives me 1.7.
Yes, that's right. Where did I get to 2.5? I didn't work it out. Don't know what I did. So it's 1.7. Thank you. For one wide awake person here. So in other words, that is down here somewhere. It's not there. Good. Well done. Super. All right, and that is what you use to sketch the histogram. You use the frequency density and the intervals. Okay, so for the frequency density, you need to know that it is the frequency over the width. And in order to find the width, you must make sure that this is continuous data first before you can work out the width. Right, and then there's another column that we need to do, and that is the cumulative frequency. I'm going to squeeze it in here. The cumulative frequency. So from 0 to 5 is 10, but you're going to accumulate it. So from 0 to 10 would be 10 plus the 12, which is 22. And then 22 and 8 is 30. So that's the total frequency. And we use this cumulative frequency with the upper bound of the interval. I want to, oh, I just said 9, it just looks a bit wonky, but this would be then 39. Okay, so you're plotting that with the upper bound, upper bound, upper bound, upper bound, not the lower, okay, the upper bound. So when you draw the cumulative frequency graph, okay, you mark your cumulative frequencies on the vertical axis. Okay, it is anything from 10 to 39. So maybe go 10, 20, 30, 40, something like that. I'm just using a very basic one to show you. Okay, and then you plot the upper bound. Oh, sorry. Okay, the upper bound. So 5.5 for 10. It's 5.5 to 20.5. So let's go in 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, 5, 10. So 5.5 for a cumulative frequency of 10. So it's like there, and you mark it off. Okay, this is 10. Right, so you've plotted 5.5, 10. 5.5, 10. Then you plot 10.5, 22. So it's like there. And then the other one, 14.5 with a 30. 10, 20, 30. Oh no, I lied. Did I write that right? 10, 20, 30, 40. I think this is lower. 10, 20, it's lower. Because it's 10, 20, 30. So it can't be above 30. And then here we've got a 30, which is how I picked it up. So 10, 20, 30 is across from 14.5. And then your 20.5 is a little bit over, and it's going to go up to 39, which is nearly there. So it's up there. Okay, so these graphs tend to do something weird. They curve a bit, okay? Something like that. Important, okay? That you know how to plot an ogive, it's called, or a cumulative frequency graph. Okay, the ogive or ogive is a cumulative frequency graph. You plot the upper bound against the cumulative frequency. You will eventually get up to 39. That highest value is 39. It is the cumulative frequency of the whole lot together. There it was. It kept accumulating till you got to 39. So that's the highest point there. And then I just quickly want to tell you that the whole point of drawing the cumulative frequency graph is to find your median, which is the middle. So halfway between 0 and 39, which is 19.5. So literally you'll just find halfway, go across to the graph, and then read off what Q2 is. In this case, it was what, 5, 10, so maybe 8. And then that's the middle, okay, from 0 to the cumulative frequency. Then Q1 would be halfway between 0 and that. Halfway between 0 and 19.5. It's close to 10, right? So it's close to 10, and it is for I plotted my 5.5 against the 10, then I'm plotting 10.5 against 22. So yeah, 10, 20, so it's like about, okay, no, that's fine. Hang on, we're doing the, that was the median. We're doing the lower quartile now. So halfway between 0 and 19.5, and halfway is almost 10, and then you go to the graph and you go and read it off. So what was that? 5, 10, 15, 20. So 5, so 6 maybe. I'm just estimating. So that's Q1. And then you do the same halfway there and you read off. Okay, that is your Q3. And what did we do this in? 5, 10, 15, so maybe 13. And that way, if you wanted to find the interquartile range, it would be Q3 minus Q1. Okay. Right. So I've just roughly shown you what the idea is here. At some point, I want to actually go and pull past papers up, real ones, actual past papers, and then we can have a look at them properly, not on this makeshift one. It's just roughly to give you the idea of how an O-graph works, or a cumulative frequency graph works. Okay. This line disappeared. Okay. All right, so that should keep you going until I see you tomorrow. And then I've had all these urgent requests for things. So I'm going to do some circle geometry that involve proportion. Okay. We'll do that tomorrow. Remember, I'm doing it tomorrow because I'm making up for this past Monday that I didn't see you. All right. Okay, cool. All right, super. So I shall see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.